Alrighty, we've got the first of the two semifinals matches for this year's Dominion Online Championship between Mic Qsenoch and Syamii. And joining me is drsteelhammer.
Hello, Nails.
So this kingdom looks orange.
It is orange, yes.
Sailor and Blockade, I think, tend to be really good together.
Very key cards, right?
Yeah. Sailor lets you play all the durations. Blockade lets you gain all the durations.
Yeah. I've heard from several players this tournament that they were unhappy with their 5/2s because they wanted to buy a Blockade anyway in the opening.
Yeah.
So I think the card is quite highly esteemed. I think I missed some of its praise during the year.
Yeah, I think Blockade is really strong.
Yeah. Especially with Sailor, right?
Yeah.
They're here now, so...
I'd say it's at least on the same tier as the other top tier gainers like Groom and Inventor. And in this kingdom, I think it looks better than Groom.
Groom there, a little bit sad in the corner.
Yeah. So as far as the opening goes, the two things I would think about are Blockade or Sailor. Sailor looks nice with Cage. Imagine you see it turn 3, you could play 2 coppers and set aside 2 things on a Cage immediately, which wouldn't be bad. Blockade, of course, could let you just gain a Sailor or gain another Blockade and go from there.
Yeah, I could also see Blockade Cage in an opening, hoping they don't collide, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, if they collide, they're still not so bad. You get to set aside 3.
Yeah, it's still fine. True. So, yeah, Blockade Cage for one of them. Yeah, I mean, Groom once you have deck control, sure.
Blockade can do gain and play too. You just have to have a Sailor in play.
Oh.
Alright, so we do see the Blockade Cage opening for both folks. That makes sense.
Yeah. Mic doesn't see any of his openings turn 3. It's sad.
The ideal turn 3 hand, I think, involves finding your Blockade. Neither of them gets that, but Syamii's hand looks better. Mic misses the Cage entirely.
Yep, gets a Blockade at least, and gets to block the gain or curse Syamii here, if both want a Sailor.
Yeah, I think as the second player, you're probably fine here, because there's enough 4s that if I don't get my optimal Blockade target, I just gain something else and I'm also fine. Like, for example, setting aside a Sailor instead of a Blockade, no big deal.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. So we saw supplies over Fishing Village for Mic, so it would be a second Fishing Village. So I'm not looking to get too many terminals early, or just preferring the draw.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Fishing Village jumps out to me as being a good card, but maybe if you're planning on getting Sailors soon and you've got a bunch of Blockades, you could gain and play the Fishing Village as needed.
Yeah, now we'll get one gained. So would you add a draw card here? Well, Werewolf is pretty much the only one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Werewolf seems right to me. Draw is good.
That's a pretty unobjectionable statement.
It's currently 0-0. The match has just started.
Yeah. Unusual for Syamii match. Yeah. In the game 1 right now. Mm-hmm. I think his quarterfinal was like an hour long.
Yeah, they played 5 games in like 1 hour. It was fast.
Mic, on the other hand, so far had several 7-game slogs, or 6-game matches that took a long while, but not just Mic's fault. So, top decking the Werewolf here with both Fishing Villages out.
Yeah, great draw for
Mic. Pretty good. Yeah, but also Syamii just has played like 4 or 5 cards, or hasn't played. It's also without draw, also working out pretty well.
Let's see. Yeah, I think I prefer Siamese position. Mick's been a little faster the werewolves, but I think that earlier cage is showing in terms of number of blockades Siamii has already gained and played.
Yeah, so this turn for Mick, a bit better than what Semi is coming up, I think. So maybe catching up a bit. So we haven't talked about plus buy yet, because we both didn't spot any probably, so we're limited by the gainers.
I could be wrong, but I think, Maho, you're mixing up the players. I don't think Siamii spectates very much. Agu is the one who likes to spectate.
Yes, for people confused, should check out Dingen's interview. Yes, former contender in this competition. Okay, the fishing village coming in at least. So both people have 3 blockades now, I think. So they're even there. Piles are not really in danger yet, but I suppose the fishing villages will go fast. And then some of the other orange cards could follow fairly soon, right? Especially with the sailor gain in play here.
Yeah, a lot of cheap cards that'll be gained pretty quickly with all the blockades. I think piles will become a threat soon-ish. So what do you do here as Mick? Gain a blockade, play it, gain another thing, and then just attack with the sailor? Or sorry, with the werewolf.
Maybe does Cabin Boy do anything here for you? Not that much, does it?
Yeah, I mean that is a good point. In theory, if Mick really wanted to play both the werewolf and the blockade, he could do that. He could play the blockade, gain any of the non-terminal duration cards like Cabin Boy, Sailor, or Fishing Village, play it with Sailor, and then have the action left to play werewolf. But I don't think those bottom 2 cards are that important. I could be wrong. I don't know if they are. I'm just guessing they're not important.
Yeah, I mean, hexing could... There's some interesting hexes that could come up here if you're not playing the werewolf. I guess the looted is the... I mean, looted also not... Maybe not the best here. Doesn't block the gains.
Oh yeah, I like the line Steph is suggesting. You could just not use the sailor on the blockade gain and buy a cage. And then set aside 4. That'd be good. Ooh, that's nasty.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty good hit. Okay, so the first groom in the decks. Kind of need that back, right? I don't think I want to rely on my one werewolf.
Yeah.
So okay. So how often do blockades pile? Don't think I've seen it that often, but
I feel like that's like half the games I play.
Okay, it's half the games. This one looks like one of them.
Yeah.
At least as a pile threat.
Blockade just seems to really synergize with gaining blockade. Like, oh, I play a blockade turn 3. What do I want turn 4? Well, blockade's a good card. Let me just gain a blockade. Yeah. All right, now what do I want turn 5? Probably just another blockade, and all of a sudden you've got like 8 of them.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I've gotten the synergy on turn 3 or 4 by getting the second one. That seems.
And then if you're gaining one every turn, your opponent is just locked out of them, or has to take a curse.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Mick, I think, took one to get another blockade on the fishing village last turns. Oh, there's a curse. And a deck. Artificer, pretty nice here. Top deck's a werewolf. And buys one. Ooh, okay. Lots of draw coming in.
I wonder if Mick's ahead now.
Yeah, Mick has a lot more draw.
Yeah, it seems like Siamii is struggling with the draw. Bottom decking werewolf a few times, whereas Mick had the rougher early start, but keeps finding the werewolves on top, which I think is making a difference.
Yep, I think Siamii has got Did he get a second one last turn? Yes, he did.
Yep.
But yeah, the one being trashed is probably quite a setback, since that would be in this hand even, or the previous one. I don't know, but yeah. An impressive amount of cards in play for not playing a single card that draws you a card, but yeah, Power of Orange.
Now, there is no plus buy in this kingdom, so there is a question of how to score. You're going to have more than 8 money just on accident from playing sailors and fishing villages and artificers and stuff, so just buying a province per turn will be pretty trivial. The tricky part is going to be getting extra victory points aside from your single province.
Mick has so much draw. Maybe he can gain a province with Artificer once or twice.
I think that's probably what you're building to, is you want a deck that can get multiple provinces, and that comes from getting a second one with Artificer.
Yeah.
Another threat
I would definitely...
another threat that often exists, and I don't know, maybe is what Syamii is thinking about, is, grooms have that tendency of, kind of like Blockade, Groom can gain more grooms, and all of a sudden you get 8 grooms, and then, oops, there go all the estates.
Yep. Groom being blockaded here this turn. Yeah, I would definitely get 1 province for Mick here this turn, with all those gainers being around.
That seems right to me.
Probably fairly uncontroversial. If I look at short in actions here, right? Or is there a trick?
He'll be able to play everything.
Yeah.
Play blockade, or sorry, play sailor, play blockade, and gain like a cabin boy or something, and then play the blockade, and you can attack with the werewolf. Okay. What do you put on top here? My first instinct is just top deck a. I was gonna say supplies, but that's blockaded, so maybe not. Fishing village, perhaps.
Yeah, there will be a cage opened every province, so gaining another one might not be so bad.
This looks like a line that's not trying to province to me. Like, you're not playing this werewolf here because that discard pile is kind of nasty.
Agreed. Suppose you could play the other one then, but the werewolf just got top deck and get through most of it at least.
Can still province. Without playing the werewolf? We've already used the blockade, sorry, the sailor effect. I'm not seeing how you province without triggering a nasty shuffle.
Is Dachi that much worse than province in the spot, assuming you piling next turn anyway?
I mean, Duchy wouldn't be ridiculous here, but I think if I wanted Duchy, I would just change my play order so that I could get a province somehow.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah.
We'll see what he does.
Also, for those who missed the quarterfinal for Mick, there was a very complicated pile for his opponent in Game 7. And later we learned that Mick was blissfully unaware that the opponent would pile, and he was just very comfortable in his position. So maybe this could also be one of those times where doesn't feel the pressure to
let's see how
get
much
a point lead.
How much can Syamii's deck do? They've got 2 blockades out. They have, I'm guessing, 2 blockades in their deck. Oh, that's also a bad hex.
Nasty. Yeah. So where's the next fishing village?
Okay, so is there a win here? The fishing village trash actually is starting to look significant because that's a lot of terminals that you got. So presumably the win would be 2 werewolves, 3 blockades, a fishing village, and then you'd have to score because you gain a curse. So can you do all that? I'm going to say probably not.
Playing fairly quickly. So also it's like not going for the win.
Yeah.
Now with 1 action left.
I was thinking even with the curse I would have gained a fishing village there. This just looks.
You need that.
I guess you can play it with the sailor, I suppose. I was thinking you gain it off of the artificer and draw it, and then you can play that and use the sailor for some other effect.
So we definitely don't gain 2 werewolves this turn. So
surely a province here.
The ship on piling has sailed. So just setting up next turn, I guess.
Yeah. Let's see. They've used one of the sailor effects, I believe, and have a second one. So they could groom and gain a cabin boy and get that into play for free. We're popping our cage. I don't think I like taking 2 estates. I think just a free cabin boy or even a free sailor play would probably have been better. 1 estate might be better than 0.
Yeah. How many estates can Mick gain?
Unsure. Probably a lot fewer given the difference in grooms.
I mean, I think maybe Mick can pile grooms in estates even. It would take some draw, I guess.
Oh. Okay.
Another estate?
Well, blockading the estate actually does protect against the pile out. You've lowered the estate pile, but now every estate comes with a curse, so it's going to be 0 victory points to pile instead of 5.
Yeah. But also Syamii's deck might now be quite sad, actually. With the cage stuff, 3 estates.
I think the points differential will be enough to prevent it, but one thing you do have to watch out for with blockade is you do open up a curse pile out of your opponent, just takes all the estates anyway, and now curses are really low. Imagine they gained 3 grooms and then use those to gain the 5 estates, and now they've emptied estates and curses.
And be down quite a few points. So in this case, right, like 10 points, probably too much.
Yeah, you'd have to be able to double province on top of taking all the estates, which not technically impossible, but seems difficult.
But I would be interested in just double provincing. I don't know if Syamii's deck is capable of ending against that. I suppose you need to blockade the state back though, right? Otherwise, that's probably dangerous.
Probably. Let's see. What's the easiest way for Mick to end the game here? Yeah, I think if there's a pile out, it actually probably the curse pile out is the most likely. I would think it's either 5 estates, 3 blockades, and a province and a duchy, or estates, curses, and then 2 provinces. And I don't know, 2 provinces doesn't sound that much worse than another line.
Gaining 3 grooms and then 5 estates seems a lot better than 3 blockades and then the estates.
Yeah, exactly. Groom will gain the estates for you a lot easier.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if that double province with that.
Yeah. Asking a lot, but you never know. Mick does Mick have any grooms? Why was I thinking he had a groom? I guess because the 4th groom was set aside on Syamii's blockade. Okay, yeah, then probably not. Because
I also thought he had 1, but if he doesn't, then...
Yeah. Well, that makes it, I think, outright impossible, because you need to gain and play a groom. Blockade can gain a groom but can't play it. Artificer could gain you a groom, but then how are you getting the 2nd province? So I don't think Mick has a pilot.
Yeah, I agree with Steph's comment here that just scoring for Mick looks okay, and just banking on Syamii's deck falling apart a bit with all the estates now.
Yeah, I'd be looking at double province for sure for Mick.
Yeah, maybe. There's an interesting spot whether you want to gain on the cage and prepare for the option that the game lasts 2 more turns, which I'm not sure it does, but it might, and then you'd be happy to have done it.
If you have the 4 extra cards to set aside, I would sure like to do that.
I mean, assuming you pop your cage this turn, and then
you mean just
have them in hand.
I see.
Get one this turn, and then use them next turn.
I thought we were trying to gain the cage this turn and play it like off of a sailor or something. Okay.
That seems. Yeah. No. Next turn. I mean, I suppose this turn could also be interesting, but yeah, it feels like taking quite a bit of power away. Using a sailor power for that, but
yep.
Also, there are only 3 sailors gained, so
can Syamii tie if it's 2 provinces? So Syamii would have to score. If you just take exactly 2 provinces, you'd be at 14 points. So the threat I guess you're thinking of is like 5 estates and then some other pile, blockades or werewolves. I don't know. Maybe.
You can't double blockade a card, right?
You can. And that would gain 2 curses.
You can?
Or
gain 2 curses. Okay.
The other thing you could do is you could blockade a card and then you could blockade a curse. And then the first time they gain 1 copy of that card, they take the entire curse pile. Because gaining an estate would gain them a curse. And then because they gained a curse, blockade would gain them another curse, which would gain them a curse, which would gain them a curse, which would gain them a curse.
I think blockading estate twice would still be better, but
yeah.
mean,
the only contexts I think I've seen blockade curse be a thing is maybe there's another one I'm forgetting, but the main one is with Shaman, the card that lets you or that forces you to gain something out of the trash. So, for example, you trash an estate, you throw in a blockade, you gain a estate curse. Your opponent has to pick the estate back out of the trash, and then at the start of their turn, they gain estate plus 9 curses. I thought it was fun.
What about Black Cat or something?
Black Cat could trigger it if they buy a victory card.
Yeah, like I dare you to buy a province this turn.
Isn't it pronounced shaman? That's also acceptable.
Shema. Okay, yeah. Didn't mean to get too far away from Mick's spot. Mick also has a second artificer. I don't know if we talked about that, but probably the limiting factor are the cards in hand then.
Yeah, so like how many things could you reasonably discard here as Mick? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like you only got like 6. I don't know if that what the bottom card is, but like 5 to 6 junk cards that you don't care about discarding. Discarding supplies is not the biggest deal.
You've still a werewolf in hand.
Yeah, you could discard and then you can draw back up. With the werewolf though, I'd probably be thinking about gaining something cheaper, then draw with the werewolf, then discard for province. Because if you discard for province here and then play your werewolf, you're top decking a bunch of nasty cards.
I agree. Yeah.
I'm not sure what that cheaper thing that I'm gaining here is.
That of course makes cage quite a bit worse if you need to discard all your junk to artificer.
Yeah.
Then there's not much caging to do.
Yeah.
But I suppose next turn there could be quite a bit, right? You gain all those cage cards to hand. You have 2 artificers, so there's some stuff to be done next turn then.
So I guess would it be possible to gain a province and a duchy here? If you discard all 5 junk cards, then you play the werewolf. You've drawn 4 more junk cards back. Then you could discard those 4 plus the one you draw. You could get, I think, province, duchy here. It would require, not playing a bunch of cards that you'd otherwise be happy to play. Like I think some of your blockades or fishing villages might not get played in that line.
Yeah, I would be very sad not to play the fishing villages with 5 werewolves in my deck. Oh, do the cage cards immediately get into hand?
Not immediately. It'll be for the next turn.
Next turn, right? Yeah. Okay, I was a bit confused for a second.
Yeah. So like your next turn will have a great target for artificer.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, so do we need double province duchy? Is the question, right? Is it like necessary? Or are we happy with 2 provinces being at 14 points and cursing the estate?
I think double province blockade a state is that safer? Because it's a lot less taxing on the deck to do double province and blockade an estate. If you do that,
Yeah, exactly.
you're at 15. Oh no, you're still at 14 because you gained a curse. But then your opponent could still take the estates. They'd have to take a province on top of all that. So they have to do like 4 estates, 3 blockades, and a province. That doesn't sound easy. Yeah, I think double province and blockade and estate sounds good. That's my guess.
Okay, we discarded the artificer, so only 1 gain. Now, yeah, we're playing 2 blockades, and maybe we are continuing the trend of hurtful hexes.
What is this top card? Because Mick decided not to draw it. Is it a werewolf?
I don't think so.
Oh no, it's a province. That province just got there. The card that was formerly on top was a copper, and we did draw it.
Yeah. So now poverty would be nice, wouldn't it?
Poverty would be great here.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, poverty would be really sad here. That is the nasty thing with Cage is it gets hit really hard by discard attacks because you have like a big 9-card hand, and then if militia attacks you, you discard all of it.
Yep.
I think that's one of my least favorite interactions in Plunder is sword plus Cage, because probably only one player has the sword, and then that player just wins when their opponent has to discard 20 cards in the end game.
Yeah. It's tough, all these drawing before your turn starts.
Yep.
Also,
Sword plus Monkey is also nasty, although Monkey is not a Plunder card. So that wouldn't have met the condition of within Plunder. Yeah. In general, Monkey, Squirrel, etc. are real nasty with discard attacks. And I think Sword is among the worst of those, just in how likely it is to be asymmetric, where just one player has it. And so, in most cases, you at least both get to be miserable, because like you both have a militia or whatever.
Yeah. So, with your blockade play, you would... Yeah.
I'm thinking the first one should be an estate.
Yeah. What? There's no sailor gain in play this turn, right? Only...
I believe that's correct. I think that sailor was from the previous turn.
So...
Yeah.
Nothing too fancy coming up.
So, what else are you gaining off this blockade? Maybe just a cabin boy? It's just +1 card next turn. Other than that, it's not doing anything for you immediately. I'm not sure what the other thing to gain is.
That's a bit tough. Second estate, maybe?
I would like the second estate a lot better if they weren't coming with a curse. Because, the estate's not scoring your points. It's just protecting from the pile out. If you take 2 estates, then you have that curse pile threat again. And I worry about my opponent doing double province.
Your opponent can't just get to province and all the estates then, right? To win.
Right. So if you take 2 estates, you're still at 14. Your opponent would score like -3 by gaining the last 3 estates. And then they'd be at 6, so they would need... Well, even just a province duchy would beat that, I think, right? There's 3 estates, province, and duchy. Interesting.
Okay. Okay.
Oh no, that's a sad way to... Oh man.
Yeah.
Hexes are nasty.
Yeah, those were 3 hand-picked ones.
And that is just like far and away the worst hex that Syamii could have gotten. Not even close.
Not even close, yeah. So I think, yeah, unless there's just a win here, then
I mean,
it's fine.
there might still be a win. I feel like the tie shouldn't be that hard either, right? Well, maybe so. I guess the games are a little bit strained, but the tie doesn't look that difficult. Pile the estates and then gain 2 other things.
Yeah, this is tie in hand, right?
Yeah, tie looks pretty trivial, right? You gain a werewolf, you blockade an estate, you buy a werewolf. Can you do more?
Oh,
Maybe so.
doesn't want it? He's a winner. Not playing for ties and second player.
Alright, yes. Syamii is not settling with a tie. We're going for broke here.
Okay, but his deck is very awful. Maybe he miscounted the piles here? Because those top 10 cards
This looks
are not... I suppose
bold.
there's some horses, okay.
Alright, so piles are super duper low, but Syamii has a decent points lead.
This is close to double.
Mick needs to find a werewolf to have a good turn here. I mean, just doubling would lose to Syamii buying a province.
Yeah, I don't know if Sammy can do that, though. He just tried to shuffle where he gained a lot of estates in.
Oh,
right?
Is that the case? Oh man, we had to trigger a shuffle to
Yes.
Was this a bad order? I didn't even notice this at the time. So Syamii could have played the Artificer before the Groom, right? And then not triggered a shuffle?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe he was hoping to find a particular card or something.
I'm not sure what he's hoping to find down there.
Yeah.
I think
so. Mick just top decked a werewolf. So there's only one werewolf left.
Yeah, someone with the power of hindsight should go back and look at this play. Syamii plays a Groom and then an Artificer. Because I'm suspecting that Artificer then Groom would have been a lot safer. Because you could top deck the province, then play the Groom, you draw the province, and not trigger this really bad shuffle. Yeah. But I'm always skeptical of conclusions I draw from looking at the log. That's hard to visualize just based on the text.
Yeah, Mick was really scared. I don't know if it would be interesting to listen into Mick's thought process, whether he's aware of what is in Syamii's shuffle now for this time, because this what he did. Yeah.
This looks like Mick trying to win this turn on a werewolf blockade pile out. Sorry, werewolf estate pile out. Does he have that? Maybe. I don't know. No, he can't, right? There's no way to gain 2 provinces and also a werewolf with just one Artificer.
He was really scared his turn would stop. That's why it's like panic werewolf on top with the first Artificer. Which, yeah. Steph called it quite a decision. He didn't call it a mistake yet.
It was very much a decision.
It was one of the decisions.
Yeah, one of the decisions of all time.
Yeah.
So is there like how do you win here as Mick? You can't do 3 provinces because you only got the ability to gain 2 with 1 Artificer and 1 buy. You can't do 2 provinces on a werewolf. You can't win. You can't win without 2 provinces.
2 provinces and an estate is 27 points. That would.
Does maxing points like maxing points loses to a province gain?
Yeah, I don't think we can play around province anymore.
Right,
with that werewolf gain.
So, like for example, province duchy leaves 2 provinces in the pile, and then that loses to werewolf plus estate. I think probably making your opponent hit province is harder than hitting werewolf plus estate. I would have to guess.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, your opponent's a blockade set aside, so the estate werewolf line looks easier. So I think you got to take the points lead and hope they miss 8.
Yeah, you have to take the estate. I'm pretty sure with the blockade. Of like Mick has to take the estate away from the get the last estate and get at least one duchy ahead. So, and I mean we can see Siamese starting hand. This is 2 horses, 2 coppers, and a blockade set aside. So that's not exactly promising to hit 8.
And didn't we conclude that these 7 cards are like almost all junk?
They're pretty bad, yeah.
What did Syamii discard? 3 coppers, 2 estates, and a fishing village. Yeah, so I think there's a ton of junk in these bottom 7.
I don't think there's even a good hex now because it's just so bad. Like Fear, which I suppose.
Watch.
1 coin.
I want to see. I want to see Mick give out like bad omens or something and fix Syamii's shuffle just to make up for how he did him dirty last turn.
Oh yeah, bad omens would be. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
It might even be maybe a reason to not hex.
Yeah, I was just wondering about that. You know, like how many hexes help you? Misery, I think, could make a big difference. I think haunting as well might matter here,
Yeah,
or
haunting is good. Yeah.
or fear. So like the other discard attacks could help prevent Syamii hitting 8.
Yeah, haunting fear is good. Famine doesn't help at least. Probably hurts slightly.
Actually, wait. Would it even theoretically be possible for Syamii to hit 8? Like, from Mick's perspective, you know that Syamii has 2 horses on top, and so they get to see 7 cards, plus a blockade. But you know there's no Artificer down there, no draw down there, nothing that gives you more than +1 coin down there. And so I think from Mick's POV, they might be able to know with confidence that Syamii can't hit 8.
Yes, I mean, I'm also pretty confident, just keeping in mind that there was something we missed.
I guess hypothetically...
I'm also pretty sure this is so awful, those cards, that I think there's no way, actually.
Yeah, like Mick wouldn't necessarily know what Syamii discarded to the Artificer, but I think they could know with confidence that it's nothing good, because they saw Syamii play all the important cards on the previous turn.
Agreed. So this seems like the line suggested, except it's not an estate, it's a cabin boy again. Interesting. Okay. So now the helping hex coming in or not? That's
bad omens. Bad omens, I want to see it.
But also haunting. There we go. So now now bad omens doesn't matter that much. And miserable.
We got 2 of the worst hexes.
Yeah. I mean, this is about what we expected, right? So
yeah, poor Syamii. No, look, Mick's hand. That was not a guaranteed win.
I mean, next turn for Syamii would look
that's true.
very similar. There were still 4 cards on top, so
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
odds were definitely Mick's favor at that point, but I mean, Mick was also looking at a pretty bad hand.
Ooh,
this looks unpleasant.
That's also one of the kingdoms.
Yeah. So I would like to play a champion so that I can stop worrying about Margrave and start playing all my Margraves.
Would you like to open Margrave with a page?
Ooh.
Or a hunter?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I'd be more inclined to open either Hunter or Capital City than Margrave, just because Margrave can draw the peasant page dead. It also cycles my opponent, but I'm not sure about that. Margrave would not be out of the question.
I suppose Duel is also pretty nice for the 3-4 person, so it's not as bad as I initially thought.
I think I would lean towards Capital City over Hunter. Final answer.
Okay. I like the Hunter.
So both of them get you 3 cards further through your shuffle if you want them to. The argument I would make for Capital City is, so firstly, it's a village, which makes it easier to immediately add a Margrave if you hit 5 again. And then, secondly, if you see it turn 4 with your page, you don't have to draw 3 cards, and so you don't have to trigger Nasty Shuffle. You could just cantrip it.
Yeah. I see the argument for it. The hunters have worked out quite well. With Warrior, Mick is still in the second shuffle.
I haven't looked, but I'm assuming Mick must have opened Page Steward. Yeah.
Okay. Bottom deck the Warrior here, but 2 estates down.
Ooh.
A bit early, in my opinion.
Yeah, I question that. I mean, Sack of Loot's gonna be great here. It's the easiest way to add payload, and every loot is 2 points. At least every unique loot, which is most of them. But
it's also the best way to score while adding payload.
Yeah, I'm looking at this kingdom and I'm thinking I want to play champion first, and then we'll worry about other stuff. Also, yeah, you can gain a Sack of Loot off of hero. Like, why even waste a buy on it? You're gonna get that loot for free anyway. I don't like that Sack of Loot buy at all.
I also think it's fairly bad. But Semi is 2 turns ahead, maybe. So it evens it out a bit, but it doesn't equalize it, I don't think.
So Mick is still resolving a capital city. I would presume you pitch 2 coppers and draw 2 here. With the idea that you're trashing 2 estates to steward, and you'd like to see... Well, what? Which of the travelers is Mick on? Warrior? No, not Warrior.
No. Treasure Hunter.
So I guess that's the hang-up, I suppose. Is, I guess, if you play the capital city now, and you don't find the Treasure Hunter, it's on the bottom and now it misses a shuffle, so maybe that actually makes you slower to your Treasure Hunter. Okay, so this looks like we're drawing with the steward to find the Treasure Hunter, which could also make sense.
Oh, yeah, okay, that was... Maybe it was required, this draw, to still be in the game, so I can see it.
Yeah. Especially, like, I did see my opponent gain a Sack of Loot, and so I would be really wanting to play the Treasure Hunter now rather than in a turn or two when it's going to gain a bunch of silvers for me.
And we draw with the steward. That's interesting, but of course it makes sense. Draw those coppers.
Yeah, I don't...
Now,
I mean,
maybe.
Trashing is great, and it wasn't obvious to me that you don't just trash there. I probably would have trashed. But, like, this isn't bad because the 5s here are also so much cycling that even if you end up with more junk in your deck because you didn't trash, the thing you're buying immediately helps you deal with that problem.
Exactly. And I think travelers in general are a bit of an exception where you sometimes sacrifice trashing for a bit of tempo to
I agree.
get those really nice cards. So, yeah, that was an interesting line Mick found, and of course also the cards lining up. Surely we do not exchange this page, right? Or are we preparing for the warrior violence?
Yeah, I think I like keeping the page. I'm not 100% on that.
I mean, Steph probably wanted his Treasure Hunter trashed here to not gain the silvers. So, yeah, would have been gone. Oh, the warrior's missing, unfortunately.
Oof. And, that's a sad hand for Mick. The argument I would make for exchanging the page is Hero could also be a pretty good card in the in-game. Gain Charm.
That's true.
For free, and then that can gain you duchies and stuff. And so I would like to have a second page go up the line for Hero if I could. Plus, Hero is itself 2 extra points.
Yeah, I agree with that, with the exception that I would do it later. Like, trash once or twice with Stuart before doing that. But of course, that might mean more silvers later. But yeah. Because the gains might explode here.
This is an unreasonably good gain for Syamii. I didn't notice it until the chat just mentioned it, but the big problem with Sack of Loot is, I added a treasure that gains me more treasures that slows down my deck a ton when I could have added a draw card. But, I pulled the 1 loot out of 15 that actually can just turn into a draw card. That was quite lucky.
Yeah, but also Spell Scroll is not trashed, so didn't pick it up. So that turn was so good that we didn't even want it.
Indeed.
Okay. Mick caught up with the hero.
Okay, so Mick can play the hero. I don't know what these bottom two cards are, but I would presume that playing Smugglers to gain a Margrave looks better than playing Steward, I would think. Yeah.
Just assume that you top deck the champion.
Yeah, just be lucky. I mean, Mick also has 2 villages anyway, so you have a pretty good chance of getting to the champion.
And now we agree that we need another one of those heroes, right? So, exchange here, the page.
I think so. You're probably not gaining too many silvers at this point to be worth it. I like bargain here. I think like a 5 and a 3 looks a lot better than a 5 and a 2. Either a Steward or Smugglers looks great for this deck. Page looks less exciting to me. I think I'd be willing to give my opponent a horse to gain a Steward.
Okay. Does not exchange the page. We see a champion on top, so
yeah, I'm a little confused. So Mick declined to exchange page and gain a new page. I guess the idea being, if you have 2 pages on your final turn, you could advance the Wanted Treasure Hunter for 2 extra points. Might be a reason to have 2 pages.
Yeah.
The downside to pages, if your deck is mostly actions anyway, then having more pages is just making your Hunter slightly less likely to hit.
But maybe it helps with like gain and play to have like a card that draws 1.
Possibly.
It's inoffensive otherwise, but yeah, it's a minor thing. The major thing is there's no champion and no capital city in this hand. So
these bottom 3 cards for Syamii have what? They have a capital city, right? Yeah, they discarded a capital city earlier. Yeah, that would be really significant if they could manage it, where like you could play Spell Scroll in the buy phase, gain a Margrave, and still play the Margrave, which is great if you can play 2 sacks of loot, put some loots in your discard, and then draw them, which you otherwise wouldn't be able to do.
What would you do for Mick here? Just trash 2 states, or draw and pray?
Ooh, yeah, I think I like trashing. I agree. I mean,
very sad turn 9, but
yeah,
it is what it is. Oh,
we're trashing
playing for the museum.
Copper Estate. That's reasonable.
Do spell scroll for smugglers, interesting. But of course you want smugglers eventually, so why not? What do we get? A staff?
I still like here. Steward, Bargain, Margrave. Yes, staff is really significant for the same reason Spell Scroll was significant. Like, you literally don't need the actions with champion in play at all, but the thing staff does is it lets you play an action in the buy phase, and that means you can draw loots the same turn, which you otherwise couldn't have.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
And Insignia also kind of enables that, in that, like, let's say in that scenario, Syamii didn't get to the end of the deck. If they had that Insignia in hand, they could have played the loots, top decked the loots, and then done Spell Scroll for Margrave and drawn the loots anyway because they'd be on top. So Insignia, I think, is pretty nice. Plus just the general ability to top deck a draw card for liability.
Okay, so the Margrave cycling did help Mick here.
Yeah. So
should find a champion.
Yeah, Mick will have a great turn, but it's looking a little bit late to me.
With a treasure hunter. And we'll have another spell scroll. Why not?
Treasure Hunter gaining the optimal number of treasures here. Mick strategically gaining nothing to turn off his opponent's smugglers.
Oh, yeah. Very smart.
I presume this would be... Actually, I don't know what I presume this would
sack. Be. That's interesting.
Alright, that's a lot of loots, but maybe. My first instinct there was actually going to be Capital City, because you could draw the loot and discard 2 for 2 more money.
We get another treasure hunter? Really? Yeah.
Yeah, Syamii is way ahead.
Yeah, so now we have a champion in play, at least. Oh, very smart, smuggling the draw card into the deck before shuffling here. Or just another sack could also be the case to catch up a bit in.
If it's a sack, I would undo and not draw, and not gain it yet. I don't really have a great conception of how much deck control Mick has. Mick seems to believe that he needs a Margrave. I think that makes sense. If you put extra draw in your deck and it turns out you have more than you need, you could discard 2 with Capital City to
True.
make use
The
of that
question
extra draw.
Does this payload ever enough to catch up?
I'm gonna say no.
So that was the idea for the sack flute, right? So just
yes, Syamii is so far ahead that they can just play it safe, top deck draw cards every turn to make the chance of a dud incredibly small. I mean, the 3 stacks of loot is kind of greedy, and that your deck is going to have tons of loot in it. But they've also got a massive points lead, so they could probably play through just a full dud. Where a full dud is probably a handful of loots that still buys like a province and a duchy.
Have you played a game where the loot's piled?
Have I ever seen the loots pile?
I haven't. So
I
far.
think no.
It's very hard, right? That's a lot of payload that is added to go through 30.
I remember playing a game once with Wolfden and loot, where loot was still important enough that the strategy was just get as many loots as you can, try to get like 20 loot so you like double up as many as possible to minimize the Wolfden points. I think that one got close.
Yeah. I mean, it is a pile in the sense that the loot can run out. It wouldn't be a 3 pile, but maybe you need to be like 4 player, 5 player to do it. To have a fighting chance against the pile.
Yeah, for 3 pile rule purposes, loots aren't a supply pile, but they are a pile which can be relevant for some things. For example, Way of the Horse returns an action card to its pile, and that card works with any pile. So like you could horse a spell scroll for some reason, and then it would go back to its pile. Oh, actually, that actually is more practically relevant with Way of the Butterfly, because you can butterfly a spell scroll into a province, and that puts it back on top of the loot pile, so you can just gain a loot again, knowing for sure you'll get a spell scroll and butterfly it again. I've seen that come up before. There are a few cards that just literally don't have a pile, like the Shelters, so Necropolis, for example, or the Zombies, and those cards don't work with Way of the Horse, Way of the Butterfly, stuff that cares about any pile rather than supply piles. Yeah, all the black market cards don't have a pile, because the black market deck is not considered a pile. So you couldn't, like, Way of the Horse, a card you bought from the black market. It wouldn't do anything.
Okay, we top deck 2 Stewards for more draw, or more reliability. We just have the Treasure Hunter for fun. We're not trying to gain a million silvers. Also makes some sense. So now the point lead is 41. So Mick just needs 5 provinces and some loots.
Oh yeah, Steph has a good point. For the Way of the Butterfly is conditional on successfully returning it, and so that doesn't work. Way of the Horse is not conditional, and so you can get the +2 cards from horsing a Necropolis or a black market card, and then it fails to return itself, which is like a win-win. Alright, so Mick just needs to score like 42 points. So 5 provinces and a duchy here, no problem.
I mean, 2 sack of loot plays, that's like 4 VP, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's true. Just five provinces even, unless you pull a spell scroll and then you're sad.
Yeah, there aren't any more spell scrolls.
Yeah, you're fine.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I misspoke. I meant to say staff.
There also aren't any more staffs, so
then still fine.
You could, of course, draw 2 of the same. That's still possible, but
yep.
So what else can you gain? Curse is a point. Silver might be a point. 2 points even.
Yeah, we'll gain a silver off of the Treasure Hunter. Probably have plenty.
Staff is in loot pile. Yes. 5, 6 silvers.
8,
How
9.
many of 9 silvers? Okay.
Okay, we got plenty of money.
We'll draw 5 of them. Is there a win here?
You can draw 6 of them here.
6 even. Let's go.
I still suspect this is not enough money. By a little bit. So 14, 15, 19, 22, 24. A meager triple province. Woefully
Probably hard to get a point lead and pile.
A little bit.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to be in a loop pile, Staff is probably pretty good candidate, right? With the one you would be fine with, even if it's a treasure card.
Yeah, I think buying 3 provinces and hoping for a dud seems pretty reasonable. You could also buy a hunter because it's 2 points anyway and is adding a little bit of draw. And then your $3 buy is, I don't know, merchant camp.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no insignia, so no top decking the hunter.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate loot draws here. Yeah. Also, Mick saw the stewards being top decked, so probably not very confident in his chances here.
It's about as good of a draw as Mick could hope for, having top decked 3 silvers. Oh god. Oh no. Oh no.
We stopped. That's probably 16, right? Quite a few loops cards.
This looks like it'll win anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The classic double province start.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Too many
Maybe
loops.
That means there was another line. Was there another line? I mean, I would assume that the getting 9 silvers was already kind of not serious.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess there was not a line that played around 82 points. Yeah, Syamii could have gotten 1 extra point there if they wanted to buying Curse.
Yeah, maybe not. Good game.
Alrighty. Oh god, what's the score? Mick 1-1, Syamii 1-1. Was there a third game that happened? I feel like there was.
Nope.
Oh, that just 2 games? Okay, so it's 1-1.
Just 2. Yeah. Traditionally, we've been rooting for player 2, but...
Oh yeah, let's go, Syamii. You got this one.
No such luck.
Yeah.
So far. So here we had the mentioned governor militia synergy.
Yeah. Steph.
Yeah.
I got a suspicion all of a sudden that this kingdom might have been rigged. A certain someone was saying they really wanted to see governor with a discard attack. And look, governor and 2 discard attacks. So trashing is a little bit difficult here. It's basically just displace. Governor can trash, but like not good. The big interaction is going to be governor and then either a skirmisher or militia, because you draw your opponents a bunch of cards and then undraw them all the cards. So it's just like pure draw.
Militia wishing well, very straightforward opening.
Yeah, I like that.
I would say, yeah.
Nothing else looks all that great. I mean, you could consider horse traders, I guess. It's more likely to get you to 5, especially as player 2. Maybe if the militia attack's less likely to hit.
Yeah, I would be happy if my opponent did that, but maybe I'm underestimating it. Yeah.
Oh no. Player 2. Poor player 2. So they both had 5 in a militia, but player 1 gets to play the militia first and then un-5 their opponent's militia. This would be a case for horse traders, by the way. If you could react to horse traders, that would fix the problem. Although horse traders with Wishing Well would have triggered a shuffle there, which wouldn't be great. Oh, I think I'm getting a little bit of an echo on your end.
Oh. Still? Or?
Testing. I think it's gone now.
Testing. Okay, hopefully.
Yeah, town makes sense to me. So normally horse traders is like really terrible at countering attacks because you put a card in your deck that is basically attacking yourself with how bad it is. But in this kingdom, if you had extra 4 games, you could just shove horse traders in your deck to get free draw off of their attack cards, and then pick them if you don't find them on top. That's probably not good enough here just because there's other 3s and 4s you want to click, but it does make horse traders look less unclickable than usual by a long shot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. We just played the governor as we have to pick?
Um...
Andrew wishing well.
So...
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay.
I guess that makes sense if you want to hit 5 and not trigger a shuffle. That might work.
Okay, yeah. What do you think about the guard dog as a counter against the attacks?
Yeah, guard dog seems good. If you have a 3-card hand, you play town, you play guard dog, you draw a hunting grounds worth of cards.
Yeah. Bit hard to get the town guard dog combo together, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, you could also set it up mid-turn. There's a lot of mid-turn hand size reduction here with like displacing a card or governor trashing a card. So you could reduce your hand size and then trigger guard dog as well.
Yeah. What about a displace at some point before the governors are gone? Not good enough.
It's a good question. Governor is a really good card here. So, I mean, Steph might just be right that you click Governor till it's gone. I think it might depend on how your shuffles go. Like, if I hit 4 a bunch and end up having to buy a bunch of towns because I can't hit 5, well, then maybe I could fit it in Displace, because Displace does what Governor does a little bit better in the trashing regard. But, yeah, you can't be too critical of a line that just buys all the Governors here.
Yeah. It's unfortunately pretty fine heuristic. So, oh, what a nice dog.
Really wanted to see all of those action cards.
Yeah. Bit unfortunate.
So I'm just going to assume Mick is ahead here.
It's a valid assumption. I wouldn't question it. Really.
If Mick could have drawn 1 card more for Syamii, that would have made such a difference.
Oh, true.
Because we've drawn exactly the end of the deck, which means all 5 of the cards Syamii has to discard are going to go right back into the shuffle. You draw 6, you trigger a shuffle, and then all the junk cards miss the shuffle. So for sure... Oh yeah, this looks nasty. You play the militia first. Then actually, this governor's still going to help Syamii a decent amount because they had so much junk that they could afford to keep a junk card in hand and trash it.
Yeah.
So Mick has 5 governors, about to be 6 governors out of the 8 governors that will have been gained. Yeah. Well, player 1 strikes again. This kingdom, I feel like, was basically decided by that turn 4 draw. In a very large part. That was just such a big difference.
Yeah. Maybe there were some other unfortunate draws on Semi's end, but also very hard to come back from that, so... So second governor coming in hot here.
Yep. So I expect that final governor is not going to survive this turn. And then as Mick, do we have enough actions to gain and play a town? I think yes. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
So that
but maybe not if we want to militia before doing that. But yeah. I mean, we probably can allow Syamii a trash of copper on the state and still be okay with it.
It's like, I would think probably what you're trying to get accomplished this turn is draw your deck, play a town, play a militia, governor trashes the state into town, draw that, play it, and now you got 2 buys, and then off of those buys, I don't know what you're getting. A displace on a town, maybe? Oh, I guess that line wouldn't have gotten a governor yet. So governor and a displace. Something like that.
Yeah.
This is just gonna be real nasty.
At least this time it's 3 action cards in hand afterwards. Although it might be a sad dog again if there's no town inside.
Bandit Fort
Very urban.
is kind of funny with Governor in that you would think that it makes Governor bad because Governor requires you to gain a gold. But I think in practice it's often proactively friendly to Governor because you gain the gold off your Governor, and then if you got all the Governors, you get to trash the golds, and then you just leave your opponent stuck with a bunch of silvers.
Yeah. I mean, against the gold for you, silver for them, so at the worst it's neutral, right? But also, yeah. I mean, I agree that's somebody skipping Governor because of Bandit Fort. I welcome them to do so. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so no gain in play or anything here.
So would you rather? I'm thinking maybe you just remodel one more time here. It's not clear. The upside of drawing would be you get to play the town and buy 2 5s, but this line is essentially gaining a 5 and a 4 and also trashing an estate, which may be better. I think my intuition is take 2 5s because like the estates are gonna be good targets on the following turn, but this line is just like gaining 2 things you wanted anyway and also trashing an estate, so makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and somewhere Syamii gained a gold. That's where Mick got the silver from.
It was that turn where Syamii played the guard dog and drew all the actions.
Okay. So there's also I've heard there was an argument once about early gold gains where your opponent can then just remodel the silver and you can't remodel the silver and if Governor another good 5 cost and you can't do the same with the gold, which kind of happened here.
Yeah, I think early Governor gaining gold is only good in like more money-ish / just like the straight up province rushy Governor games where it's just like monolithic Governor and nothing else. In engines, I do tend to think that early Governor gold gains are pretty bad because silver is a great remodel target for the Governor and gold is just kind of worse.
Yeah, there's an argument to make that town is better than Wishing Well, right? But yeah, Copper Trash also completely fine. But yeah, so that's the second gold for Syamii. Can use 2 of his 3 Governors next turn to remodel those.
So Syamii still playing on against all odds.
Yeah. So what would need to happen here? Like missing militia one time or something, or accidentally trashing it?
Mick falling asleep and timing out.
Oh, yeah, that would be a tough loss.
Yeah. I think Mick is ahead enough that if he just straight up passed a turn, he would be still in a comfortable lead.
It's the only play we have the pig. Yeah. Losing the gold split, of course, so far. That's a tough.
Yep. The reverse farms.
Oh yeah. Negative farming.
Yep. Copper is not an easy card to get rid of here, aside from an opponent's Governor play. Dismantle, or not dismantle. Displace doesn't deal with it effectively, Governor doesn't deal with it effectively. And you're basically stuck drawing through it.
Yeah.
That's not the end of the world when you've got 8 Governors or however many, 7 Governors in your deck.
Yeah, it should be 7. So now adding in the displays feels kind of inconsequential to me. Might do it, might as well do it.
Yeah,
maybe.
What
Just
else
skip it.
down there? 2 coppers.
Yeah, it's interesting consideration that trashing gold might be better.
There's a third thing in
But
this.
there's still other targets.
Oh, there's also a silver down here.
No, that's
right.
Is there? Oh, yeah, the new silver. Yeah, that's possible. That would be a nice target to remodel.
So let's see. You could draw the silver, remodel it to displace, draw the displace the estate into a town, and then draw that and get plus buy off of that. Gain a gold and buy, I don't know, 2 things. That's true. The militia should come before all those things. I think Displace is a pretty good card here. You don't so much want to turn the golds into provinces with Displace because you still have the gold because it's exiled instead of trashed, and so you're scoring 4 points instead of 6. But Displace turning provinces back down into 5s and such looks really good.
Yeah.
See, I think I like I don't really consider alternatives, but at first glance, I liked the line that gained and played a Displace here, and used the Displace on the estate to gain a town. That line seemed good as far as like next turn you can gain and displace a province, and then be in a happy spot.
Oh, there's a wild hunt.
Spicy.
Hadn't noticed that card being in the kingdom. But of course, you have a bunch of towns now, so good. Can do more other stuff with governors if you draw.
Yep. Now you got the terminal space, and you want the draw. What would I buy here? Probably another town, and then either Displacer or Wild Hunt, I would think.
Yeah.
2 more hunts. Does he have that many towns? That's a lot of terminals. Mick has another Wild Hunt already in the discard that he hasn't played. Like, you do have to kind of write off 2 of the towns if you want plus buy, which, I mean, maybe you don't. You don't necessarily need to buy 2 things. It's possible that maybe the best line there could just be plan to play all the towns for actions and just rely on Governor for gains. Although even if I were doing that, it would probably be Wild Hunt Displace, I would think. I really like the lines that involve displacing a province, because then you get a 5 back and it's kind of paying for itself. Or gain a town off it, or whatever your heart desires, except province. It really doesn't matter, given the state of Syamii's deck. I think I will be pleasantly surprised if Syamii finds the win here, but very, very surprised.
Yeah, so are we remodeling the guard dog here to draw?
Remodeling the
Probably not
guard
right.
dog.
It's not even that much better, the Wild Hunt.
Oh, as in like trash the guard dog here before drawing?
I expect we're stopping with the draw, right? Once we play militia, or do you think you'll draw or no?
I have no idea. It's hard to say what looks good, because nothing looks good.
Nothing looks good.
There's a lot of junk down there, right? Yeah, I'm following you now. I could see remodeling the guard dog.
Well, maybe just 2 golds.
Yeah, 2 gold seems reasonable. Gold guard dog into a 5, gain a town seems reasonable. I mean, resigning seems reasonable. They're all but equally likely, I think.
Yeah, it seems like a fine line, yeah. Okay, we are trashing estates into copper to draw 4 cards. to draw some estates with God? No.
Nope.
Okay.
No, we just want the estate.
We just want the estates.
I'm a little
another estate?
surprised at mixed discard. So Mick discards 2 coppers and a wild hunt. Obviously could have discarded 3 coppers and had a great starting hand, but wanted to get in a copper trash. I think if I were considering keeping a copper, I would have left a hand of town wild hunt rather than town governor. Just because you're drawing 3 cards either way, and I'd rather have a governor at the bottom of my shuffle than a wild hunt at the bottom of my shuffle. Because the last governor could be a gainer, whereas the last wild hunt is doing a lot worse for you.
This is pretty dangerous, right? Okay. Finds on the draw card. Okay, we're fine, but
the only card you really need to find, which Mick found early enough, is the militia. Like the danger line is I draw my opponent a bunch of cards and then don't discard them again. If Mick's turn is just like militia and buy a province, that wouldn't be so sad.
True.
Xiaomi's deck does not have enough gaining power to threaten, I don't think, a realistic pile out, even if given a whole turn. What would the piles be? Town and
one
state,
town,
maybe?
6 estates.
Yeah. Because your plus buy is terminal. You get 3 governors, which... Oh, yeah, you get 3 governors. I was looking at the player and I was like, oh my god, Xiaomi has 4 governors, but it was not Xiaomi's turn. So like 3 governor plays is 3 estates, but then how are you drawing if none of your governors are used for draw?
Okay, Mick tracking his deck. Found the town at the bottom. Still sharp after 75 minutes. Yeah. I guess the stakes here feel too high to resign prematurely or very maturely and just playing it out. Like you said last time, the gap between having the chance to win it all and having the chance to be the only double loser.
Oh, wait, was this a win in hand? So if Mick remodels 3 coppers into estates, plays Wild Hunt for estate gain, plays 2 towns for plus buy, and then buys 2 estates in a town, I think that was a win, right?
I'm waiting for Steph to confirm I didn't.
Yeah, someone tell me that I was right.
Close enough to attention.
It looked like a win.
Yeah. I didn't look for a win, so maybe.
This should win sufficiently fast as well. I don't like lowering towns for no reason. It's not going to matter, but...
Oh, it was Syamii.
Oh, I see. You're right. Yeah, okay, then I like lowering towns for Syamii because you have to pray for some ridiculous pile out.
So, Guard Dog doing his thing, drawing 4 cards, very nice. Yeah, so this is like the best turn Syamii can hope for, I think.
Yeah, and it is still looking pretty insufficient.
Yeah.
Mick thinking hard. Is trash a province to flex on him, I guess, is the consideration. Other than that, I'm not sure what we're doing here.
Get a horse traders now.
Yeah.
I could see it. Ditch the well or the dog. Don't really care for either of them. Might as well be.
What are you thinking about here, is Mick? I don't... Oh, we're gaining horse traders. Okay. I can't conceive of that mattering one way or the other.
I mean, for the stat sheet, 1 with horse traders. Syamii lost without horse traders.
Yep.
Oh. in the duchy game now. Okay, leaving 3 provinces.
I mean, I think if Mick passed here, Syamii still doesn't do triple province.
Yeah, if he draws 7 times with governor and then passes.
Yeah, maybe Mick will. It could that do triple province? I think maybe that.
Yeah. Or 6 estates.
I think Syamii only has 1 gold in the deck, and so it'd have to gain a gold with governor, draw back around to it. Maybe they could just hit 16 plus a governor trash.
6 estate wins. So.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so Mick should just draw with all the governors and then pass, and then we can see player 2 win.
Then we'd have some first match fixing scandal in
Yeah.
history of Dominion online.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah,
that reference is too elderly for me.
Yeah, it's 2 clients ago. Yeah, I mean, just disconnect and games lost, or just misclick anything.
Oh, is that someone mentioned that the other day? It's like you can't get back into a game.
Yeah. In Goku, I mean, we had an app, and then before that, making fun app, and then there was Goku was a client in the like a browser client. So, but the it was a dangerous spot for a button to be that just ends your turn with no way to undo it.
That sounds like a great design.
Yeah. I mean, the best meme from that time is that Young Witch meant that the 11th Kingdom card was not on your screen but on the second page. So, and that was like it was always the most expensive card. So, like
that makes sense.
So, the King's Card was on the second page, and some if you're not checking, you might be surprised that your opponent has a King's Card all of a sudden. And you're like, oh. And then the jokes emerge. Like, if you don't know what somebody's doing, like, does he see something I'm not? Is there something on the second page? Possession, maybe? But yeah.
What card could Syamii see here on the second page that explains why they haven't resigned yet?
And possession would be a good one, right?
Yeah.
Play with mixed deck a couple times.
So we need to find the potion on the second page, and then then buy the possession, and then
yeah, potion is the giveaway. That's true.
Wait, no, there are things that could gain you the. You find Lurker on the second page, and then you gain the possession off of that, and then you play a whole turn on the mixed deck, and then you win. Yeah. That could work.
Yeah. I also think having a potion in the kingdom messed up the order of the treasures somehow. It's like, well, there wasn't really a place for it.
Put a pile of king squirts in the next room.
Yes.
Mick doesn't like winning. Mick likes running up the score.
Yeah. When I played the German championship once, years ago, and in the group stage, like VP differential was the tiebreaker.
Wait, so, if we're piling up the estates, why do we militia Syamii? That's just
so he can't gain a duchy, maybe.
Can't gain 5 duchies.
Oh, can't gain 5 duchies. Wait, what is happening? That's fine, right? With 1 more.
Yeah. Okay. We're piling the estates.
Syamii also didn't trash the town because he would need that town to have a turn and make play the trick on him. So good thinking, but yeah.
All right, 3-0 for player 1, I believe. Going into game 4.
Yes. Yeah.
We got rats. We got apprentice. That could be a thing.
That is a thing.
Villages look weak here. There's Gondola, which is like a one-shot village, although Silvermine makes it kind of viable to gain those. That's most effective for playing like a terminal payload card, of which there really aren't any. Not great for draw. There's also Favors, which you could gain with Bauble. But, oh my, is Rats the best village? So you gain favors with Bauble in your preceding buy phase. Then you play a Rats, gaining a Rats, triggering the Banded Nomads for plus action, and now you can play multiple terminal draw cards in a turn. That would be funny.
Do you need to play terminal draw cards in this kingdom?
You don't have to. But in terms of like what is my deck doing? I mean, maybe you just draw with Apprentices and Rats and like a Pilgrim or something, maybe. Or to stay thin enough with Sanctuary that it doesn't matter. I'm not sure. But I want to believe in the Rats Village.
You believe hard enough. I mean, if Sanctuary comes with a trash estate.
Pious on Sanctuary just seems a lot more thematic than Pious on Rats. Well, the Rats Village lets you play your terminal draw and then play on.
Yeah. Guess.
Silvermine can be a double village. Can it? It's like you could gain an action in the buy phase, you just can't spend it. What are you doing with the Nomad section?
So there's technically another village if you're getting favors, I guess.
Yeah. So opening, Syamii opened Sanctuary, which I don't know, makes a lot of sense to me. It comes with a free trash, and it's a trasher.
I mean, if you want to go for Apprentice Rats, I wouldn't open Sanctuary, but the Sanctuary line is preferred by both players.
Yeah, if it didn't come with a free trash, I think I would be a lot less up on it. But trashing an estate before you even shuffle your deck tends to be pretty good.
Yes, both spent their favor for that to not be borrowed.
Is that right?
Well, they don't have favor anymore, so I would.
Let me rephrase. Is that strategically optimal? So you get to 3. I would have been happy just buying a Bauble, I would have thought. And then saving the favor.
Okay. To have another question, where were you when Silvermine was playtested?
Did I playtest? I surely playtested Silvermine. I don't remember my opinions on it.
Did you buy it?
Let me see if I can find my comments on Silvermine. We'll investigate.
Okay. I mean, this might be a kingdom for it.
Oh, I don't think Discord likes me searching while I'm in the OBS mode. We'll never know what I thought.
Yeah, we'll never know. Yeah.
I think Silvermine's fine. It interacts with a lot of the like $4 treasures in a fun way.
I guess it's a very plunder card to gain all the ropes.
Yeah, like with rope, for example, that's a good interaction.
So there's the branches for Mick. So maybe the rats are back on the menu.
Your opponent has a witch, so you're going to have plenty of stuff to trash, and you're probably not going to want to exile the curses. I mean, you would do that if you didn't have an alternative, but you could trash them instead of keeping them. That's better.
Okay, there's the silver mine. Or second silver mine, actually. Both have one.
I guess I was about to say, wow, that's weird. They already have the silver mines when they've got like 1 and 0 terminals respectively. But then it occurred to me, you can do things with it other than be a village. It is also just the best way to gain payload here.
Okay.
This is
just bought a gold.
Aggressive amount of treasures from Syamii. It reminded me of the early Sack of Loot game.
So
if you borrow for gold here, I'm just walking out.
wait.
Okay.
Silver mine,
more treasure. So Syamii looks like they're playing basically money.
Yeah. Mick has reds now and the bauble, so I'm expecting some more action cards on his side of the table. Silly Potter agrees with the money approach.
I don't know. I feel like you don't necessarily need to build very much here because all the actions are really awkward and take a lot of investment. But I think if I were trying to play a simpler deck, it would be more focused on just like staying thin with Sanctuary than filling it full of treasure. I don't know. I mean, this seems like not ridiculous, but it's not what I would have done.
Yeah, true. Sanctuary usually helps quite a bit. If you can just exile the green cards. But with the gondola flood, it's a bit tougher.
Yeah, like you got silver mines. I would happily take some additional draw cards here. Another pilgrim, perhaps. Probably another pilgrim.
I would expect the province with this deck.
We top deck the silver. They're just gonna buy province.
Okay.
They could have,
and 4 money coming in.
They could have done province and a draw card there if they felt like it.
Didn't feel like it.
They did not feel like it.
Ooh. But nice trick here to play the Sanctuary. Or yeah, suppose it's a trick. It's what the card does, I guess. So do you treasure silver here or the silver mine in mixed place?
Silver.
Okay, this deck does not look very action heavy.
Yeah. Sammy looks pretty ahead.
Yeah.
Like the deck that has all the treasures also happens to have equally many draw cards.
Yeah. Characterization is not quite accurate so far. It's also quite a bit of money on the engine side and a lot of draw on the money side.
Yeah.
Okay, we got another apprentice.
I get to kill a rat. Actually, do you kill the gondola? Maybe, I'm not sure. I believe Mick has a second rats down there, so like if you trash this rat, you can still rats the curse and be okay. But maybe you'd rather have more rats in your deck. I'm not sure. I think I would probably kill the rats here.
I would want to play one of them.
Yeah.
And there's a favor here, so
plus card, I would guess. Generally, drawing things is good.
Do we need a plus action even, or is which the last action card we will play?
I don't think that there are any important actions down there. Mixed deck, to my understanding, doesn't really have anything in it.
There's second apprentice, which we did get to, so suppose that's nice if we have a target for it.
We didn't even want to trash.
Okay.
Maybe we wanted to gondola it.
Yeah. And then trash a copper or trash a...
I guess this, the state must be on the exile by now, right? Yeah. Probably this line just didn't make much of a difference, playing the apprentice in the buy phase instead of the action phase. I was, like, you would think that maybe Mick is holding out to try to find a better card to trash, but I'm not sure what theoretical target there is that he would have trashed instead of a copper. There's no cursor or state in the deck.
Okay, does this... Yeah, it's 8. Top deck the witch.
You don't want to play the witch?
Can I play the witch?
Sure.
I can play the witch. Yeah. Okay, why are we top decking the witch?
We're gaining the gondola anyway. Just play it.
Yeah, once the 6 card hand next turn. Allied. Wanted 5 card hand next turn.
Wants to borrow.
Borrow. Okay, not ideal again.
Right,
Silver is gone.
It's probably not going to make any
No.
difference, but like this line at least has the risk of drawing your sanctuary dead, or at least double the risk. There's a non-zero risk that the last line did it too.
True. And no more gondola bailouts here.
Yep. Yeah, taking the last gondola makes sense anyway because you deny Mick the ability to do fun stuff with it.
Yeah. Other players don't get to have fun.
So now we got to use our bauble rats synergy if we want to play more terminals. Although what terminals those are is unclear.
Time for werewolf.
9. We intentionally wanted to... Oh, never mind. I saw the money go from 8 to 9, and I assumed Mick just borrowed for no reason. I was trying to figure out why he did that. No, that was just bauble. He chose an extra coin of no
Didn't
value.
want to click
Yeah.
not top decking for the province.
Yeah, in terms of minimizing number of clicks, coin favor is best, because if you choose top deck, you have to decline to top deck the province. If you choose plus buy, you got it manually in your buy phase.
Unless you don't want to spend your favors, then
Okay, so
not clicking favor.
Mick just needs to gain like 4 duchies and a province here, which given this hand should be pretty trivial.
Where the upgrades? Detached upgrades?
Yeah.
Now would be the time.
Yep. Which money deck?
Yeah. Yeah. The one with the extra silver mine. Oh,
Alrighty.
seems like a computer science joke.
4-0 for player 1. Oh, fun. You got Captain and Throne Room, which is... You get 2 captains in hand. You use your first captain to play a Throne Room to play the second captain, and now you got 3 captain plays coming in next turn.
Ooh.
Other than that, the game is a little bit awkward because there's no trashing, and the main draw here is draw to X, basically. So you're stuck with a 10-card hand and a bunch of junk in it.
Oh no.
You can kind of get around that by...
That sucks.
You could play a bunch of your treasures with launch, and then by launch to go back to your action phase and start drawing again. So that's something.
Yeah. I personally hate it as well if I only get to have 10 cards in hand. Fortunately, there's some way with like Baron and Ironworks where you can go down and play one more of those.
This is mixed style of draw. How do you open here?
Settlers is interesting.
How do I feel about that?
Oh, we hit the 6. That's pretty nice. I guess that's what happens when you open Baron. I like the Baron open.
Yeah, I think I'm down with Settler
That sounds
Baron.
good.
I'm coming around on it. Silver is generally a lot better hitting price points than Settlers is, because Settlers is only a peddler if you find it on the turn 4 hand. But with Baron, like you find Baron in a state, you're getting to 6 pretty much guaranteed. And so opening Baron with a non-stop card means you avoid the dud case of Baron and no estates more often. So yeah, I like the Baron Settlers opening. 6
It's
is
also interesting
oh, go ahead.
that you want to hit 6, right? And 5 is not interesting at all, so you're fine with a 4. Like 6-4 would be totally fine, even if your settlers didn't gain the copper here.
Yeah, that is, a very big difference is silver a lot better at hitting 5 reliably, but 5 is mystic, which is bad. 6 is a big number here. Captain and then later Marquis are the numbers, and Baron gives you the 6.
I could see an Ironworks here. Oh, we launched. That's interesting.
Exciting.
I mean, I'm not that excited by it, but...
Oh, Grass Wonder makes a good point. Leprechaun, you can potentially get much earlier than usual here with launch. Because like normally with Leprechaun, you have to have like 7 actions in your deck at a minimum to play a bunch of actions and play Leprechaun and activate it. You never play Leprechaun for just the gold. That's terrible. But with here, you could play a bunch of treasures, launch, then play your Leprechaun, and now your treasures are also counting towards the 7 because they're in play. And so you could activate Leprechaun really early.
True. The wishes, of course, are very nice. Yeah, I would expect a throne as well. I guess we're going for a settler split here.
Huh.
Discarding the coppers to Marquis, and then we'll redraw them with settlers too.
So what just happened here that we're surprised by?
Mick could have thrown the captain and then play Baron twice and have a lot of money.
There's only one estate in hand, right?
No.
I see. We drew the estate off the settlers. Yeah, that is really weird. I don't know. I can't explain that.
Especially gaining a settlers.
Yeah. We really like the settlers. I want to make a current events joke. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, someone
I kind of have anyway by saying that.
Yeah.
5 is a sad number. Baron and 5 coppers is a sad hand.
Got it by Mystic. It's a $5 hand. Launch into the state. I'm down.
I think this.
Yeah,
I'll buy Throne Room here. I think.
When in doubt, click launch. Did you see Mick with Tracer?
No, I did not.
Some very funny launches on Mick's side.
So what are the odds that launch pays off here? Well, apparently 100%. Yeah. I think launch was probably pretty reasonable there. Drawing either of the coppers would be really sad because you don't want to hit 3. But drawing any of 3 estates would be a net improvement because you could buy a 6. Drawing Leprechaun works out. Drawing Captain would have been good. So I think the odds were in Mick's favor of drawing a good card off of the launch.
Yeah, so now fairly ahead, I would say, right? Mick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually not so sure. I mean, like, it's working out here. But there's a good argument for just not having a Leprechaun in the deck. Because if you've got a bunch of captains anyway, you can always be playing Captain as your 7th card. And then you don't have a card that's dead if you find it at any other point in time. I guess if you have 3, and then, like, what else are you buying?
Yeah, I think there's a pretty strong argument for it. Question is, what do you do with those golds?
That's true. The golds are not phenomenal. I think they're still better than nothing. The payload here, the action-based payload is better, but getting all the golds means you can afford to just click all the draw cards and use most of your captains on thrones and stuff.
Match scores 2-2.
Indeed it is.
So what are options here? We could draw a card with village, or I guess throne room. Doesn't really matter. Stand, or we could just Baron and accept that this might not be the best time. How far are we away? If we Baron the estate, can we still Leprechaun free draw? Probably right.
Oh, from that, like
Alone.
the question is, was a Leprechaun activation guaranteed if you play Baron first? Let's see.
I think so.
So the captain is 1, settlers is 2, 3, copper is 4, leprechaun 5. I mean,
with a launch, yes.
You,
yeah, but I guess now just to avoid the nightmare where you just have 2 and can't launch, but it would be the idea to Baron first, but that didn't happen, so.
not a bad boon.
Not the most exciting here, I don't think. Oh, what is this end again? I guess there's a Captain coming in.
How many estates is Mic seen? I think
there's a Marquis down there, which would solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, I think this has a pretty good chance of being a good turn anyway. You're going to see 2 cards between Captain and Launch. And if you find an estate or the Marquis, then your Baron gets to do something.
Yeah.
Syamii could have thrown left there. I wasn't paying attention, but I will trust that is correct. Yeah. You play the coppers first, yes. You buy Launch, you play Captain as the 6th card, use Throne Room, play Leprechaun, and then you gain 2 golds and 2 wishes.
Yay. Oh, Launch? Yeah, makes sense.
Throne, Leprechaun is better. That makes sense to me, yeah. So Kazu and Steph are on the same page.
Repura has Leprechaun, I guess?
It's just the first 3 syllables of Leprechaun.
Oh. It's probably pretty difficult to translate. It's probably a rather niche cultural reference.
Just based on that, I'm gonna guess that it's probably like literally just transliterated as like Leprechaun.
Yeah.
in Japanese.
Might be.
So you could do the throne here. Captain plays Throne Room, plays Leprechaun. It would activate twice, and then you could buy Launch to continue the turn. Oh, I guess we're probably definitely doing that, and the reason we're stopping here is to figure out what to discard, because we were over 10. Oh, we've already launched? Forget what I said. You can't do that.
Yes, we launched. But yeah, probably... okay, we're not thrown yet.
We couldn't
draw.
Well, yeah, if you thrown it, your turn ends there. At that point, I think it's not worth it.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
I like RTT as the abbreviation for captain.
Yes.
For those who are unaware, RTT, someone who's also in quarterfinals and knocked out by Mick, is actually the person featured in the art because he won some tournament in Germany, and the reward was being on a promo card.
Germany. Yes. Wish for TTT. No, RTT. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. If you can't launch, I wouldn't do the double Leprechaun. At least not in that position. Maybe there's a different line earlier on in the turn that could have gotten you to double Leprechaun. I don't know. Is Cynthia not listening? I just explained that 2 seconds ago.
Okay, yeah, that seems like a very productive turn. What turn count are we in? Turn 10, yeah.
Yeah, this is turning out to be pretty fast for Keenan with no trashing.
Yeah, true. One province makes sense.
Province there.
I would want another captain.
My first instinct was just to click 3 $6 cards. Maybe you could do province captain and a throne, or province marquis and a throne. I think both of these players are on the like green a little bit earlier and build a little bit less side of the Dominion spectrum.
Wait, did somebody make an image out of that yet? That would be a fun one. Just have an Hexes building versus screening.
Yeah.
Putting the top players on it.
That would be fun to construct.
Just make Thunder Dominion out of it. Just order the players.
Who are on the far poles? Probably Wandering Winder on one side and maybe Kaplane on the other.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Cider also likes greening a lot. I think Steph would probably be with Kaplane on the building side.
Yeah, but I would trust Steph to build.
Yeah.
Like, not too much, just the right amount, but I guess getting more out of it.
Dan Brooks another for the big building side.
Oh yes.
Akuchi on the by province at the earliest possible opportunity. And
for sure, yeah. Oh yeah, Dan Brooks videos or something else. I guess there aren't many like it. I think Dan Brooks is with the person where your opponent has 7 provinces to 0, and he's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I have the line. Trust the process.
Yeah, I remember more than one game where Dan Brooks would look horribly lost. I'm like, why are you not resigning? And then, 2 turns later, he somehow outscored 7 provinces.
I guess, at least it's my impression, the last expansions kind of helped the people who green early with stuff to make you more reliable.
I think Plunder for sure does, right? There's not really alt VP in it, and it's a bunch of treasures. So Plunder, I think, pushes towards greening earlier. Allies might help building. The split piles tend to not empty, and so you can build really big.
Yeah, that's true. But there are only 6 of them. So, but yeah. I remember times when there was like the money player having bought 4 provinces, and you're like, okay, this deck is done.
Yeah.
You might get a duchy now, an expectation. And now there are quite a few decks where it's like, just keep on sailing towards the end.
Yep.
This time was pre-adventures? At least it felt like that to me. Maybe I'm misremembering things, but
before
at least it's more straightforward money lines, right? Where people played like Smithy money sometimes. So
Smithy, big
not
money.
Steph, but others. Yeah, not Steph, of course, but
the strategy's so strong it had to be banned in tournaments.
Yeah. Yeah, like Double Jack is a good example. People played Double Jack money. Okay, I don't think I've seen it in the past 5 years.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I saw Double Jack money as a strategy. I think like
this is one of those.
2 years ago, I played Jack Cathedral money in a league match, and I remember losing to some big engine.
And it's a perfect example of a strategy that really doesn't hit 8 very well
Yeah.
if you have few provinces in it.
This does seem like a very thinky kingdom. Play order matters so much between activating Leprechaun, maximizing Marquis draw, lining up your thrones and captains in the optimal way.
Yeah, and I would count at least twice my cards in play before playing Leprechaun.
Yeah. I'm expecting a Leprechaun here, probably. Yep. Faded Council Room does sound pretty strong.
Yeah, it's also a game Mick played in the round of 32 or something.
Oh,
In Spitter War.
The exact same.
From game. Yeah, it was just something.
Yeah, Marquis is another one that gets a lot stronger if you have a way to reliably top deck it.
For sure. Yeah, what we missed in the game is that Syamii bought 2 provinces last turn in the Marquis, so both players are greening. Makes it interesting now. Double for Mick might be dangerous. I mean, it very likely is dangerous. So I am expecting 1 province here.
Let's see. Definitely seems possible for Sammy to do triple. How likely is that? I'm unsure. Can you play around that? Yeah, I think 1 province feels probably correct to me. Because like a province plus a duchy or 2 gives you a points lead, and then if your opponent triples, you might be able to outscore that still. I'm assuming this captain will be a baron.
Yeah, I
guess
would assume so.
The thing maybe we're thinking about is if those bottom 4 cards are bad, then captain as messenger, sacrificing 2 coins to clear them off the top could make sense. But I have no idea what they are.
Yeah, if there's a Marquis down there, then
yeah,
the 4 money is fine. And I'm sure Mick has messenger on his mind if they were that bad.
Yep.
I assume a lot of the copper estate cards are in the discard now with Baron and Marquis. So okay, we played 21 out of 22 money.
So yeah, I like buying 1 province here, and then what else do you buy? I think at least 1 duchy, and then you have 9 money left to work with.
Okay, 9 money. So that's not a 6 and a 4, but piles are not really a consideration, are they? Besides the province pile, not really. I would say.
I would say probably not. I mean, you do have a decent number of buys between Marquis and Baron can gain estates, so I don't know, maybe, but it's hard to see what other piles are emptying. Captain.
Yeah. I agree with 1 duchy to not be losing against 3 provinces anyway.
Yeah. Ironworks. Exciting.
Ironworks.
This is not the point in the game I would expected to see an Ironworks gained.
Yeah, it's Zuna had the Ironworks in turn 1.
Why?
It's turn 11. The Marquis. Okay, so no duchy. Maybe yeah.
I wonder if the Ironworks threatens a pile out. I think not realistically.
Like, I will assume it does. Otherwise, what does it do?
Like, there's a lot of kingdoms where just 1 Ironworks in your deck can become 10 Ironworks really fast. You get into your deck, you play Ironworks, you play a cantrip, you play the Ironworks you just gained, you play a cantrip. But in this kingdom, you're drawing with your Marquis and then discarding all your junk, so you don't want to trigger a shuffle or you're top decking a million junk cards, and that makes gain and playing with Ironworks seem to be off the table to my eye. I don't know. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say province, double duchy, throne room is my choice. I don't really have a strong basis for that.
Final answer?
Final answer. I'll lock it in.
Final answer. I lock it in. See you after commercials.
Let's see what Siamese deck can do.
So far, it's okay. That's a bit more money now. 11 plus 12. 23.
How much of this do we get to keep in our hand?
Oh, yeah. Some of it is gone.
Interesting.
No Baron?
I was expecting an estate to be kept and you wish for a captain, but it looks like that is not what we want to do. We want a gold.
Wishing for a gold. Okay.
That just seems straight up worse, right? So discard a copper instead of an estate, wish for a captain, gets you the exact same amount of money, but it gets a captain in play for the following turn.
I agree, yes. I assume Kazumaro agrees, but I'll wait for the translators to come in.
I'm going to assume he didn't like it.
Okay. The difference. So how many?
Yeah, that's probably true.
That's a lie. What is a lie? Okay. Somebody lied. We don't know who it is. Dominion, the social deduction game.
So how many points do you need here? Well, points is easy. How many duchies do you need here for Mick? Province gives you 21. So 4 duchies and an estate, right?
Yeah. The estate is easy with your newly gained ironworks.
True. So province and 4 duchies means you got to hit 28, which does not sound outside the realm of possibility, but will also be pretty difficult, I think. So we'll see.
Yeah. This turn might take a while.
Yeah. You could also...
What the Marquis is.
I'm not sure what the most efficient wish is, but you could consider wishing for a duchy as well.
Oh, true. Yeah, it's probably hard to be more vagal than gain a duchy, right?
Yeah, so wish for a duchy, ironworks, and estate, and then you're left hitting 23. That definitely sounds possible.
You could also maybe throw in a lab and find the wishes with the Marquis mega sifting. Yeah, Steph also wants 2 more wishes. I don't think it's that tough, to be honest. I think
you want 2 more wishes. Can you gain and play those wishes?
They should be, right? I mean, Marquis is...
You play the second Marquis for sifting? Yeah, that might be possible.
Yeah. It's literally draw 10, discard 10, right? So, or maybe 9 cards. That...
So what's Koryo? Is that a wish?
A wish? Or like the puzzle piece of the... What do you need?
I don't think it's... Maybe it's one of the $6 cards?
Can you ask them back in translate Japanese?
This is a fun guessing game.
By the way, is Google Translate even still the best thing you can do, translating wise?
It seemed to work pretty well. That was how a lot of the interviews got translated this year.
How did they translate them? Deeper, yeah. Okay.
I remember editing it with Google Translate. Yeah. So, Kazu's saying launch gets you around the 10 card limit of Marquis, which, it's true to a degree. We talked about that at the beginning.
Yeah, DeepL was very good already a couple years ago. I didn't know they had Japanese, but that's pretty nice.
The funniest part I remember, I forget which interview it was, but there's like a lot of sentences where like they don't use pronouns at all, and so like Google Translate and DeepL will just like be making random guesses as to who they're talking about, and like, you gained a province. we greened early.
Yeah.
And you got to go back and clean that up.
Yeah.
That would be
It's
hilarious.
great if you use like yeah. Sometimes when people use expressions that are common in their language and
yeah,
sounds like super poetic or just like nonsense in the
yeah. I'll be a monkey's uncle.
Yeah. I also read once that like live translators, like translating face to face, sometimes translates jokes. For example, just like, "Oh, he made a joke. Please laugh."
That's funny.
Because that's kind of hard to translate and still make sense.
All right. Chat seems very confident in Mic's position here. I'll trust them.
Yeah. More than 99%, Steph. Gonna bet it all on red.
So we got the throne leprechaun. We've spent one of our wishes, so we can find the other two wishes. So is this a guaranteed win if you just play Bustling Village Marquee here, or do we need to play some of the other stuff first?
We'll discard the settlers for it and the copper.
All right.
It's gonna be great.
Pro-Am is reaching out on a diplomatic mission. Trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, this sure looks like it's gonna win. I feel like maybe they were correct.
Yeah, so some duchies being gained, so we're just one other green card besides the province duchy away.
So it's looking like Steph and maybe Kazumaru, if we guessed correctly, were right about the double leprechaun line being pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, how much money is that? They're buying out all the duchies, I think, with the province.
Yeah, it looks like it's actually overshooting by a decent amount, right?
Yeah. And it would be very sad if this...
Oh no, have we been duped? We didn't get all the duchies. We're so close.
That's how you lose in diplomacy.
Alright, yeah, so Mick scored plenty. Was that player 1 or was that player 2?
Yeah, it was player 1, yes.
Okay, well,
Red wins.
So 5-0 for player 1.
Always bet on red. Yes.
Alright, so
no state goat connection.
Yeah, 5-2 in a goat kingdom is really good or less good than usual, depending on whether you get to trash on a state with the goat, which we didn't get to here. But actually, it probably doesn't make much difference here. You'd like remake on 5 over laboratory anyway. I think I like trashing. Even if I had the opportunity, I think I'd rather trash estate than copper here. You can remake the estates, but the 3s aren't phenomenal.
Yeah. So you just draw a bunch here, and then what do you do then?
That's a good question. What is the payload in this kingdom? You got all the engine pieces to like make the engine work. You got draw, you got villages. The payload is pretty bad though. I guess you're just taking a bunch of treasures because it comes with palace points. So Pixie could be good, like popping it for Mountain Village. Not Mountain Village. Well, you could pop it for Mining Village, but I meant to say Mountain's Gift.
Yeah, that's... I'm not convinced by the cabin boy. I think the palace treasures
Did
make some sense.
Did Syamii say something? I guess I missed that message. Oh yeah, so it must be really late over in Japan right now.
I guess it's a chat message,
almost
like, directed at the players. Right? I don't know.
It looks like Silly Potter was quoting Syamii.
I've never seen a message from either players in the past. They stopped
Or
saying
maybe that's
DP
like a
right?
hypothetical. Like this is what he's probably thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that is a late time to schedule a match. I've been on the opposite end of that before, scheduling with folks from Japan, and you end up playing at like midnight, and they're playing at noon.
Yeah, like how many hours is it?
I don't.
On the East Coast, probably pretty bad, right?
It's Japan plus 8. So from
roughly.
from East Coast, that's a 13-hour difference.
Yeah, which means it's an 11-hour difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty far away. Then it isn't even that much better for West Coast, I guess.
Yeah, so 13 from the East Coast, and then 16 from the West Coast. So I guess West Coast is less of a difference because it's just 8 hours in the opposite way.
Yeah, that's fine, I suppose.
True, this has worked out weirdly well for the Europeans. It's like what, early evening over there.
Yeah. Yeah, for me it was 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Starting 2 hours ago. Yeah. I mean, there have been Japanese-American matches at like 2 a.m. for me or something, so those also happened. I guess at the end. Yeah.
So interesting play here. We're getting rid of the remake already. You gain it back, so I think that makes sense. If you need more trashing, Anvil will put another remake in your deck easy enough. I like the Pixie gains. They don't do anything in particular, but they just do a lot of kind of useful stuff. And the payload boons in particular, what I'd be looking out for here probably.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, the payload boons are the ones. Or yeah, I guess we're already done remaking for both of them. Or maybe we'll regain later.
What am I supposed to be using my other screen for? You could be playing Dominion while watching Dominion.
Yeah. The Wisp help a lot towards Game 7.
Now I gotta figure out who gained the Wisps. Syamii. Okay, so Mick does not like the Wisps. I'm inferring. Not Mick. Steph doesn't like the Wisps.
Steph likes them. Syamii winning gives us.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I forgot who was behind. Yeah, Will-O-Wisp tends to be a good card.
Who knew? Yeah, this turn it looks a bit worse. Just having 2 estates and 2 coppers instead of drawing a deck.
And this would be such a nicer hand if the journey token for Ranger were oriented the other way.
Oh man, I would love more journey token cards.
Oh, ooh. We don't have quite enough cards in hand to make this look great, but I think you take 1 gold off of this. You could just take 2 golds and call it a turn, but 1 gold plus drawing I think is probably going to work out better. Oh my goodness, we got all the good boons.
Yes. Take them all.
And, oh no, I thought that said gains an anvil. Discarding anvil makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, gain a village.
I'm thinking a village and a ranger.
Yeah.
You want to play both of the rangers for draw, and then ideally you find the 3rd ranger to set up for the following turn.
Yep. Beautiful.
This worked out. I was expecting a blessed village because a lot of boons could have helped you in this situation as well. But, I mean, mining village is also good.
Yeah. Oh, Fisherman Saver. Interesting. Some payload.
The silver was, I guess, consistent with Syamii liking to gain treasures whenever possible.
Yeah. And next time we buy gold for 3 VP.
Yeah.
I have to still 2 coppers.
Yeah. I guess it was fair. Like, intuitively, Lab looks pretty good, but you just drew your deck while gaining and playing a gold, so probably on average you'd expect to draw next turn. And so I think the greedier line was fair here. For once, I'm on Syamii's side.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Also, the anvil not doing a lot when you're blocking your $2 fisherman. It's not that great.
That's true. Anvil does have a lot of anti-synergy with fishermen.
If it was a silver, you could just buy a fisherman. So, yeah. If that was preferred. But the village for Mick also looks pretty good. The stack is quite bare bones compared to other components Syamii already has.
Oh,
unlucky.
So close. Hypothetically, like if you had known that was coming, you could have like spent a coffer to gain a gold, but that's kind of hard to predict with 10 boons in the pile at that point.
Misplay, yeah.
In general, I think usually if you're gaining Blessed Village and have the ability to, the move as Mick did is to leave 1 copper because the benefit of pulling Earth's Gift and getting to using it immediately is really big. Plus, you can trash if you get Flame's Gift.
Okay, Syamii just might have fallen in the Ranger trap. I'm not sure, but yeah. So you're drawing Ranger terminally, sometimes you screw yourself.
Steph makes a good point. There was no good reason to gain the Mining Village first and the Blessed Village second. And if you'd done it the other way, like you'd get the boon first and you could use that information to know, like, oh, maybe I should discard here.
Oh yeah, thinking 1 gain ahead.
That's too far in the future.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, sure, Mining Village, and what now?
That's way over the horizon.
Yeah. Cross the bridge when we get there.
Yeah. Well, this is less good than it was earlier, but yeah, I think you still take it.
Oh no, yeah.
Worst case scenario.
7
yeah,
going down.
Like in the absolute worst case, you can horse both Will-O-Wisps, and then it's like the Sea's Gift or River's Gift in level of draw. Mick still has an estate. Why does Mick still have an estate?
Yeah, pretty interesting when you trash an estate turn 1 to still have one. Or turn 2, I suppose.
Yeah, we have Remake and Goat in the Kingdom, and Mick still has an estate. How did that happen?
This time there's also no museum for your estate, so...
Yeah.
Can now Mick again is forced to consider future gains.
I feel like this Forest Gift is... Oh, I didn't expect that. I mean, I didn't really think about what I was doing, but I just kind of figured Pixie worth more than 2 coins. And Mick said no.
Oh. We horsed our Candlestick Maker away to draw something.
In fairness,
not the gold.
It's not a very good card, so...
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. That is a valid point.
What's down there?
The gold.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
You mean the draw pile?
Yeah. So big bottom deck gold. How did it get down there?
Just shuffled and...
Oh, he gained it at the start of turn, I see.
Yeah. So how many Rangers would you like to have in this deck?
At least 2. 4 would not be unreasonable given all the villages we've got anyway.
Yeah, I would say 4. The problem is Mick doesn't have that many cards to draw.
Yeah.
Really? But yeah, having 4 Rangers, I like that. So does Syamii find a Ranger? He does, because it's on top of his deck. So I guess it wasn't... I mean, you can't say that if it was dangerous or not the previous turn, but...
It's kind of hard to... we don't have the...
Wisp.
We're not drawing deck here. But I think Syamii should be fine from here on out.
Yeah. Syamii's start looks a lot like Mick's turn, so...
Yeah.
That's why I was set.
The thing you really want with the Rangers is you generally want an even number for all turns except for like the last one. And you want to set them up so that the token starts out flipped face down. so that your first ranger draws you 5. Because if your first ranger draws you 5, you just have to find 1 village and 1 ranger, and your turn's probably kicking off, and then you can reset the token at the end. Whereas if it's the other way around, and you have 2 rangers, but the token is face up, then you have to find 2 villages and 2 rangers, which is a much bigger ask of your deck. And so a lot of times, like, you add 1 ranger, you flip the token over, and then you just sit at 2 rangers or 4 rangers. And then on the last turn, if you need extra draw, you could add a ranger, and then with no intention to ever flip it back over.
This looks good. Now, what we can say for mixed deck is that he has a lot more palace potential with his remaining coppers. So glad we still have 4 of those.
I think I like Steph's idea of silver and gold. It's presumably going to be worth 3 points. I don't know about immediately, but you can get a copper pretty easily if it's not. And then payload is good here.
Mic also
come by.
Mic can also gain silver gold here.
Yeah.
Maybe once another village, but I don't think so. I think you just have to assume you'll top deck 1 village each turn.
Yeah. I think you trash the copper. Yeah. Like, you might want coppers in the end game, but you can buy them back with how many buys you have. Silver gold feels correct.
Is the price pool still 1,000 euros?
I think so.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
Should be like a day's work. Should be
yeah.
Should be less valuable than this match.
That's true. There's money on the line. So like, what's the minimum amount you could expect to be making by winning this match? If you make it to finals, you're guaranteed 250 euros, and if you make it to semifinals, the max you could make is 125. So this match is worth at least 125 euros, as much as a $450 euro difference if you're first and your opponent is fourth.
You have a 50-50 chance because you always win as first player. Yeah, the expected value is pretty decent.
That's true. If we just assume equally likely, then your expected payout for making it to finals is what, 375, and then your expected payout for I'm trying to remember the month. I got the numbers wrong. I must have the numbers wrong because that's not amped at 1,000. Whatever the payout is.
So put all your energy in this game, especially because it's game 7, 1 game to decide it all, possibly. With Syamii being this ahead. Again, no gold. No gold, silver.
Yeah. I like Semi's position. It's not over. This is definitely a kingdom that... Actually, is it? I was going to say it could swing easily if you don't find a ranger, but, worst case scenario, maybe you horse an action. If you find a hand of all treasures and green cards, I guess you could dud.
Yeah. Also, it's possible that Mic has quite a few of the mining villages, right? And they could swing at least 1 province on the final turn.
That is true. Yeah. Wouldn't be that surprising for Mic to win. I don't know what odds I'd set it at. Not high, but not astronomical either. We've acquired a copper.
Yes, 3 points in the bank. Yeah. Staring the ranger gods too.
So Mic's still behind on golds, even though Syamii is passing them up for provinces.
Yeah. Okay, so there are only 2 mining villages on this side. And somehow I feel like there should be some mining villages somewhere and I don't see them. There are 2 in mixed deck, there's none in the trash, right? So there are 4 in Syamii's deck.
Oh, does Syamii have all the mining villages?
I mean, it looked like there were also only 2 of them in Syamii's deck, but I don't know where the others would go. Maybe horse to the wrong place or something.
Yeah,
Like below the labs.
they must be in Sammy's deck.
They must be, right? There's no setting aside or something. Anything.
Maybe you're not accounting for the ones that Sammy just gained with Anvil last turn.
Oh, they gained 2. Okay, yeah. I see. I just saw the one they bought, but they gained 2 more. Okay, that makes sense. Then we count. They are accounted for. Oh, that is not a hand Mick wants to see. So I think
that's a bit sad. Yeah.
I think
so. Mick could horse the ranger, and it's not like the end of the world because you have an okay chance of finding a village, but it's not a happy sight.
True.
It's not yet a guaranteed break.
Yeah. Anyone remember the stables hand?
Also, is Mick getting a turn? Sammy says no. Sammy says game ends this turn. I infer from popping all the mining villages. Is this 32? Okay. I'm going to assume it must be. Or maybe it's a pile out. Pile out's probably even easier.
It's 24, and we just say...
We're just going to buy them.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
It's not the first time we saw triple profits.
Wait, what? What?
What? I mean, it's not ending the game. It's just buying 3 provinces and saying...
That was like a super trivial pile out. Like, you were overshooting by a bunch with the anvils, but you also could have just bought the rangers and mining villages straight up. This is...
I see.
So Xiaomi's getting revenge for that time Mick passed up the pile out to just buy 3 provinces.
Yeah. Wants the militia first before ending the game. But okay, so Mick's turn turned out okay.
Okay,
this would be another tragic.
I don't think Mick has nearly enough money.
No. But does syamii pop off here? Just killed his economy with all those miners being jobless now.
So which card do you play first and how as Syamii? You could horse the fisherman to find a village. But
I would do that.
You could play it for 1 coin because all you need to get to is 8. So you could also horse the ranger. I don't know. It is not obvious to me which of these things you play first and how. Sammy does not have very many villages in the deck. So I think probably the safest thing might just be horsing the ranger. Because if you find a silver off of that, then you can play the fisherman for a guaranteed win.
If you find a silver, you... Oh yeah, right. You need 1 more coin, true.
We'll see what they do. I think I like horsing the ranger. I'm not confident on that, but that's my guess.
Ooh. Oh. Plays this normally and, okay, gets punished, but not really.
So we're horsing the ranger. This will be a win.
Okay. There we go.
Maybe now we start in on the piles.
Okay, we gained the estate.
Yeah.
For fun, yes.
Okay. 6-0 for player 1 against our well-wishing. We get a game 7.
Game 7. Random player order. Okay. Don't ring. Yeah, the alarms need to be... Are there alarms?
Okay, what do we have here?
Discord alerted?
Yep. So Barge and Shepherd have a lot of synergy because you get a big starting hand and then you line up your Shepherds. Villages are fine. You got Royal Galley and Captain, which are both great villages in general, but the targets for them are Market Square and Pawn for the most part, which is not super exciting. You could Galley a Shepherd, then you get less flexibility when to play it, but that would still be pretty fine, I would think. I guess the big question...
dying by the Shepherd draws?
Yeah. I feel like... How do you trash? You can't activate Jeweled Egg here, can you? Or Market Square? Wait, so we got a bunch of trashing synergies.
Yeah,
that literally can't be used.
Jeweled Egg doesn't have a way to trash it. So
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe Coven could be relevant. Like I was just looking at all the draw and thinking cursing looks way too slow here, but payload is
yeah,
not that easy to acquire, and so maybe this is less fast than I was expecting. Fiatum is a third card that trash for benefit synergy or trash at all synergy, and don't get to play with any of those.
Yeah. What about Banquet for Coven and Labyrinth points? No, seems like Potion instead.
I'm gonna assume Silly Potter is gassing up Familiar based on how he played his last match.
I mean, I had a very similar game 7 to this tournament, where I just bought Familiar, my opponent tried a bit more functional things, and somehow lucked out.
I tend to skip both Coven and Familiar when at all possible. This is a kingdom
I don't think
where
it's possible here, is it?
I would consider one of them. Mick likes Familiar. I was thinking Coven, but maybe Familiar is better. I don't know.
Ooh.
Banquet, Coven, Labyrinth. That's a fun idea.
Had Ding in one, he would have been down. Would have been here to do it. That would be.
So how does that?
Something.
The Covens could empty the curses pretty quickly. You have a big points lead from Labyrinth. Buying out estates for 2 victory points each would be worth more points than usual. But I'm not quite sure what third pile you'd be rushing in that line. I don't know, maybe Jeweled Egg or something, or Pawn?
Duchies.
Oh, yeah. The Duchy Estate curse pile out. That wouldn't be very fast. Maybe the decks are bad enough at that point that you could
the decks
do it.
Are really bad. We are playing really fast. I guess there aren't really many interesting decisions.
I'm a little sad to see this come down to Familiar.
Yeah. Do we buy Captain here? Yeah, right. Can we Shepherd twice?
Oh yeah, surely Captain.
Surely. I mean, Coven might be a consideration.
I would have thought Barge is the other card that I would contemplate, just because like you got the curses in your deck and you want to draw them.
Yeah, I didn't mean no decisions. I mean, there are a lot of things you can do fast, like if you have a Shepherd in hand and a state, and then have 3 money.
So they both like the potion line. They both hit Familiar. Syamii got the Royal Galley, which seems like the better shuffle if they can line it up, which they did not. So they're probably fairly equal, I think.
Yeah, got some RTT. And very close to Royal Galley Familiar.
Yep. Didn't quite work out. I like Captain here. You could buy a copper.
Could buy a copper for 2 points, true. But
that's actually not that important at this point. The third Familiar may or may not give out an extra curse. It could matter.
Oh, it's a very nice Shepherd into Barge.
Would you buy a Familiar here? No, we just go for silver. Okay.
Oh, trains us another believer.
All right, so Tracer and Dingen had a very different idea of this kingdom.
Yeah.
Versus Familiar, I will say the Coven Rush sounds pretty strong. Like if I saw my opponent open Potion, I think the odds of that Coven Rush winning start to look a lot bigger, because Potion is an actively bad card for your deck that commits you to buying cards that are basically do nothing cantrips for you, just to give out curses, which you're now contesting. And so, like, that deck is going nowhere fast. The Coven Rush, I think, has maybe a worse matchup versus someone who just builds the engine and doesn't have to worry about curses until they all drop.
This is the Labyrinth, I assume.
Yeah.
Barge and Pawn or Estate? Pawn. Yeah.
Is pawn better than estate? I mean, estate is a draw card in this kingdom with your captain and your shepherd, and you sure don't have too many green cards in your really thick deck. I think an estate might actually be a friendlier card, even ignoring the points.
Yeah, 11th spot makes a good point. I think usually I would be up immediately for the Coven Banquet thing, but do you want to gamble your game 7 on it?
Yeah, this could be a much more interesting final game if we saw like the asymmetric strategies, the Coven Rush versus the Engine or versus Familiar. Familiar versus Familiar is not a very interesting match. It's kind of rude of them to play to win instead of playing for the spectators.
Ooh, it's Captain. RTT.
More captains.
Oh, that's the curse split 1, right, for Syamii?
Looks like 6-4, yeah.
Yeah,
as player
6-4.
2. So all of a sudden, I'd say we might see a player 2 win for the first time in 2 matches, right?
Yeah, never seen. That was I think it's still fairly even with the 4-6 thing. I think the captain split is in mixed favor.
Is it? Let's see. Oh, you're right.
The Labyrinth 1-0 split is also in mixed favor.
Yeah, there's a lot of other things that could go in mixed way, so it's not over.
It's 4-6. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, Mick has successfully acquired more of the curses.
Yes, he's more of everything.
With only one shepherd in the deck, I think you play the pawn first, and it sure paid out. I like Royal Galley. A second shepherd would have also been reasonable.
Mick is still trying to make something functional here.
Yeah.
Whereas with Syamii, I could see starting some point plays very soon. Like, do you want a copper with 2 VP? I would think so. If you're provincing, you might as well, right? Or 2 states could also be the play. But Syamii is not really set up to do very well on the shepherds. Banquet, let's go. Banquet is barge and estate. Very interesting. It's like the Ironworks earlier. You didn't expect it at that point in the game.
Yeah. Banquet, barge, estate. I think that seems reasonable. Wasn't on my radar. The big downside is Banquet. Like, it's fine with barge, and it's fine with rushing estates, but it is really unhappy with your shepherds.
Captain Pawn is a good point. That's a bit weird.
Yeah, it's also more clicks.
Mm-hmm. It didn't even take coin.
Okay, we got a big turn here. Now here I would captain for pawn so I don't trigger the shuffle. Actually, I'm not sure it matters. Like all these.
Oh, we're not drawing? Oh. I expected some draw here to be.
No, this makes it. I was gonna say all your duration cards stay out anyway, but that one captain was from the previous turn. So stopping here means that captain goes back into the shuffle.
Okay. Also not really interested in Labyrinth points.
You can get Labyrinth points here by banqueting.
Yeah. Goes back to the captains for Syamii as well. Bit envious of what we can do with his deck.
Do you try to make a functional deck here as Mick? You're really behind in points, so I don't love your prospects if you just rush the estates. Like 4 estates here wouldn't even put you in a winning in the lead.
Yeah, you need some green cards, it's true, and the other ones are pretty expensive. Yeah. I think that's also an interesting diagram, like the players who are overly analytic versus those who just internalize a lot of things and then play by intuition.
Based on
And
the Syamii Dingen match, I definitely got the vibe that they played based on vibes, given how fast that match happened.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, but I would also think Mick is more on that side. At least he has been like critical in the past of people who are over analyzing. At least in how I perceive it.
Although I think from Kazu's perspective, everyone looks like a more vibey player.
Yeah. Just reason
like,
from first principles.
Yeah. From the North Pole, every direction looks south.
Yeah. Okay. This is some draw. I think I really want these dates now.
I would be very happy to have the estates in my deck. Are you lowering piles? Yeah, I think the estates are fine. Like, what pile does Syamii go after if you empty estates? It's not clear. They probably still have to try to green.
Duration barge, nice. For some future shepherds.
Estate galley? Nope, these want both estates.
Nope.
That's a pretty good hand. These decks are very similar and very swingy, and so it feels like we're just kind of rolling ever so slightly loaded dice to determine the winner.
Yeah. This is also something I have to work on. In my head, I can't really envision decks that have 6 curses and 7 coppers in it and still do a lot.
Yeah.
But
I have the reverse problem, which is like I'll play one of these games and I'm like, oh, I could easily make this deck work, but then I forget that curses are already a pile that's empty, and then all of a sudden I built too much and the pile out happened before the province ending.
I mean, it's not double barge double banquet on barge. So
this is an unreasonably good starting hand. Look at that.
Wow. Oh yeah, the dream. So is it just over on that draw?
Oh, so yeah, Syamii I guess is going for the barge pile out, which I like that play.
9
Yeah,
9 money is not easy.
I was thinking, barge is a good enough card in your deck to be worth banqueting. They might just be wanting to end the game immediately on barges. I didn't think about banquet making 5 barges doable.
Probably 9 money is a bit too much. But this will be a big hand.
This looks like it could do it.
6,
We're
8.
Really close here. Yeah, like what do you... Only curse here, I think. Yeah, play it as market square. If you draw a copper, you win. If you draw an estate, you can play the shepherd. And that's a win.
This is 9 exactly.
Yeah, I like the banquet barge
it was
thing.
A pawn. Yes, yeah, it's a pawn. Nice.
Oh yeah,
there we go. I had to win.
Yeah, well played to Syamii. Finally a player 2 win. I liked the end game there.
Yeah, congratulations to him.
All right, I don't think Syamii has ever made it far in this tournament before. I'm not even sure how many times they've competed, and they're on to finals. And they'll play the winner of VRS versus Agu. So the second America versus Japan matchup for this year.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yep.
Some duopoly.
Yeah. Yeah. So it could be an All Japan finals. We'll have to find out. Anyways, that's the match. Thanks for commentating.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you too.
Hasta luego.